Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are at week number 134, would you believe? So if you watch my channel, you'll know that we are doing reruns. So we are rerunning week number 34. So yeah, week number 134, rerunning of week number 34. And what we are making this week is our teeny tags. Teeny tags, tiny tags. Sorry, for some reason couldn't say that. I have no idea why. So yeah, this is a great way to use up very tiny scraps of paper, I have to say, because the tags that we are making, they're going to be very tiny. So as you can see, I mean, I have literally brought along, you know, the tiniest scraps, like, you know, on the planet, basically. So yeah, if you want to kind of join along, you're going to need some scraps. Now, of course, they don't have to be tiny. You could start with much bigger ones. I mean, I have got this, which is the biggest sheet that I've got here. And of course, I would cut this down to make the tiny tags. So, you know, you don't have to have teeny weeny bits. But what I'm saying is, you know, if you're anything like me and you do have a box of scraps, you may well have quite small pieces. So then what you're going to need on top of your tiny scraps is you're going to need some things to back your tags. Now, again, you can use things like book page if you've got book page, you know, with a lot of blank space. However, personally, I would say this is going to depend on how thick your scraps are. So this one here, for instance, this is just on copy paper thickness. It's slightly thicker. It's about 100 GSM. Copy paper is 80. So this, for me, doesn't feel like a very thick tag, but that's because I like my tags really, really thick. If you are not so fussed, then that would be fine. That being said, this here has been printed on, I think this was 200 GSM, so it's much thicker. So this, I would have no problem backing onto like book page because that would be sturdier. You know, so yeah, you're going to need some kind of blanks basically for the back of your tags. And again, you don't need the most massive area because these are teeny tags. So, you know, this would be fine. I'd get, you know, a couple of tags out of this or a few tags out of this. I've got this one from some book page. Again, you know, it's not the thickest, but if I'm using it with thicker paper, it's going to be fine. But as you can see, it's a completely blank sheet. And then finally, I've also got some coffee dyed paper, A4, which is, of course, this is, I think this is 250 GSM. So it's a whole full sheet and I'm going to be able to put lots of papers down to make my tags from this. So that's kind of the paper elements that you're going to need. Now, I like to use hole reinforcers on my tiny tags or teeny tags. Again, this is completely optional, but if you do like to use them, you know, you may like to have some of them on hand. You might need your crocodile or just a hole punch, or if you haven't got a hole punch, you know, you can even just use a pin to make just a little tiny, you know, weeny hole. You're going to obviously need your scissors. You're going to need some glue, and you will probably need some sort of thing to spread your glue. So I will just use my old card here, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Depending on whether or not you want to decorate your tags afterwards. Now, I probably will keep mine, you know, plain, so that when I come to use them, I can just pull them in and then decorate them to match my projects. But I will decorate one or two up at the end just to kind of give you some ideas of the types of looks that you can get with them. So yeah, let's just make some. Now, they're the most basic thing on the planet, so really, you know, I don't barely need to talk you through at all, but I'll just talk you through one or two, just, you know, just because otherwise it would be pretty rubbish not being talked through at all, I guess, wouldn't it? So I'm just going to cut down this. Now, as I say, this is thicker paper, so this is like yeah, 200 GSM might be something like that. So you know, it's thicker. Now, this is the types of size tags that I'm kind of going for. I mean, of course, if I've got a bigger piece, so like this, because I'm going to be doing these tags from the patches, because this has got a patchwork thing going on, and this is just from my Victorian Florals, I think it's set 3. So I'm going to try and keep them in their, you know, in their colour sets, if that makes sense. So like this one, obviously a bit bigger because I've got, you know, more of a patchwork thing going on. So this one here is about the biggest patch on this particular sheet of paper. So of course I can make my tag, you know, bigger. But I mean, it's not going to be big because that's the point of you know, I'm trying to make tiny, you know, tiny tags really. So again, you know, might as well just actually use up the whole sheet of paper, and then it's done, and I can, you know, put the rest in the bin, the little kind of offcuts, you know, which is great because then I've got less things, you know, just floating around in my scraps bin. So yeah, and then just do another one from this. Again, just cut that down like that. Okay. Okie dokie. So like that. And yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of cutting them, you know, quickly sort of thing. So obviously you can see I've got quite a few here. Now I'm just going to use this sheet of paper. So what I might actually do, because I'm going to be sticking from the reverse, I'm going to just cut around here so that I know where, you know, where I've got to play with, because otherwise I'm bound to just stick them straight over that texty sort of section. So I'm just going to move these out of the way and then just get glue in and stick in. So it's up to you really. You can obviously make your tag shapes now, or you can just glue them down and then, you know, cut them to size afterwards. I don't think it really matters in this particular case, because obviously they're so tiny that trimming the corner off, you're probably still going to have your glue, you know, intact kind of thing, like in the right place. So just then take my glue spreader and just spread that like that. So take another one, just have to pop this one down like this. So again, yeah, I mean, I think probably for these tiny tags, it's just quicker to just glue the whole thing down and then cut my corners afterwards. So like that. Okay. Okie dokie. Oops. Okay, you can just about fit this one in over there. So like that. Okay, actually, if I put it on lopsided like that, then I can pretty much fit the whole thing on. Like that. Okay. And then again, just pop these ones down. Probably can't get them both on. Oh well, it's fine. So I'm just going to put this one down like that, and again just spread my glue like that. Now, to just show you kind of the types of things that you can pop on these, because I mean, obviously, you know, they are very tiny, so you know, you're going to be limited with the types of things that you can decorate them with. But if I just take those down like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut my corners like that. Okay, now in the past I quite like putting things like just you know, a line of sheet music, say, in the middle, just running down the sort of tag. So just take a little section of the sheet music and just put that down on the tag. You know, it looks super pretty, really, really nice. And then you could always finish that if you've got any butterfly punches or, you know, stamps or anything that are, you know, pretty tiny. So I love these Martha Stewart ones. Oops. You could just finish that off like that. So if I just glue this one down here, like that. Just press that down. And then my Martha Stewart butterfly. I mean, I'm just hot gluing this down just, you know, for speed really. But yeah, just kind of like in there. In there. And then you can just pop your hole at the top. Now, I always use my hole reinforcers. When I buy them, they come on the sheet, which now, what have I done with those? Oh, what have I done with them? I literally pulled them in, didn't I? And yeah, already I've misplaced them. Oh, here they are. I just buy them like this, and then what I do is I take the whole sheet and I just go over with my distress ink and just ink up the whole sheet. You know, and that's just a quick and easy way to do that. And then they are self-adhesive, but I always put a little dab of glue around, you know, just for sort of extra, you know, extra stick, because, you know, I just don't really trust them to stay stuck down really. And that's that. So gorgeous, gorgeous little tag. And then I'll just ink around the edges. And then how I use these is, I mean, of course you could use them if you've got tiny pockets. I mean, you know, lots of people I know make tiny journals, so then they'd be absolutely perfect. But if you didn't make tiny journals and, you know, you're like me and kind of tend to make bigger journals more, then what you can always do is attach it to another tag, which, oh, I'm just looking behind me to see if I've even got a tag that I can pull in. Now, obviously this is not going to look right because it's the wrong tag, but what you could do is if you punched a hole through your back tag as well, you could just attach your teeny tag to your larger tag, maybe with some ball chain or something like that. I mean, of course, this does not go with this particular tag. That being said, it actually looks quite nice even on that. Even though they're completely clashy and not kind of matching tags, it still looks quite nice, doesn't it? So they're a way to like dress up other tags, you know, or you could put them on pockets and things. So again, just seeing whether I've got a pocket that I could pull in. So I've got this pocket here. I mean, you could just kind of like clip it onto here. I mean, you could have it with a brad, so it was like moving around on the pocket. You could have it again just with a ball chain or something, just hanging, you know, hanging from that pocket. You know, different options. You could have it with string, you could have it with a bulb pin, you know, lots of different options that you can use these for. So I think they're well worth having in your stash, and they're a brilliant little scrap buster, you know, because you can actually make tons pretty quickly, and they've obviously used up some of your scraps. So I'm just going to pull in another one and just, you know, we'll have a look at a couple of other things that you could put on them. I mean, I have to say, you know, I've been doing that with the sheet music for, oh gosh, like absolutely ages, you know, because I actually think that's quite a, you know, a hard look to beat. It just looks so nice. So yeah, I mean, at the risk of just being really, really boring, you know, sometimes I just think if you have a winning formula, just, you know, stick with it. But yeah, I mean, if you didn't want to do that, you could always dress them up with something like, say, a little book plate. So these are my coloured bright book plates that obviously these are in my shop. And just cut this out. I have got neutral ones as well, but the coloured ones, they're quite fun. And yeah, they've just been in there a couple of weeks really. And I'm just loving using them. So again, you could just pop that book plate. I mean, I'm not saying that this particular colour actually goes brilliantly on here. It's not a great match. Let me just see whether I've got some more. I've put them into those little thingamabobs, you know, beside my desk, and now of course I can't find them. Oh no, I must have taken them off somewhere, I think. I'm just checking whether they're here at all. No, I can't now see them. I've obviously been using them for something else, and yeah, they're now not here, accessible. Oh, here we go, coloured book plates. Here we go. I knew they were somewhere laying around. So yeah, I mean, obviously that's not probably a brilliant colour on there, but maybe this one is better. Again, I mean, it's not a brilliant colour, but a bit like with that other tag, even though it's not kind of a brilliant colour on there, it still looks good, doesn't it? So I'm just going to take this one down because this one might be better. So again, just cut that one out. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously much better on there. So you could just literally attach just a little book plate on there. And again, you know, you could then have something like, you know, another butterfly or something. So let's just see what I've got here. Whoops. Most of these are on glittered paper now for some reason, but that's fine. So again, just going to glue this one down. Okay. Like that. And then just, again, pop that little butterfly down there. Like that. And then again, you know, just ink that up. I'm just going to do my punched hole. Like that. And again, just pop some glue around. I mean, this isn't, you know, a must step. You know, you don't have to add the glue. I just do it as an extra precaution because, you know, I just think you don't know how sticky the hole reinforcers actually are, you know, even though they are sold as adhesive, you know, they might not really last 5 minutes. So it's just a sort of precaution really to actually reinforce them with some glue. But again, I mean, how gorgeous is that? It just looks so, so pretty, doesn't it? I don't know what I've done with that tag now. Oh, here it is. So again, I mean, obviously it's not a matching tag to this, you know, but again, that would just hang from there. And I mean, so pretty and so easy to do, isn't it? So yeah, just going to put that one again to one side. But so that's another kind of little idea that you could do is, you know, just small book plates and things like that. And then another little thing would be, instead of the hole reinforcers, you could just attach a little bow at the top. Now again, this is now not going to be quite the right colour for this. So let's see. Oh, this would be better. So I'm going to cut this one down so it's better to use. Okay. Like that. Okay. And then again, we'll just glue this one down. So this is on paper. So I'm going to put this onto the coffee dyed paper so it's a little bit thicker. Like that. So, I mean, at the moment, you know, although I'm not really mass making, I'm just giving you some ideas, whoops, of just some very sort of subtle but quite effective decorating, you know, things that you could do. Because, you know, of course, when you've got very limited space, you know, and they are very, very teeny, you know, sometimes it's hard to kind of think, oh, well, what am I going to decorate that with? Because, you know, it's not quite so easy when it's just a very, very small space. Sorry, I just misplaced my glue spreader there for a minute. So, and again, just cut that down here. And I'm just going to cut it in here. And I just like to cut down, you know, around all the edges, just so it's then, you know, reinforced and glued down right to the edges. And then again, cut your corners like that. Okay. And then you could just use, instead of the hole reinforcement, you could just pop a little bow at the top. And then what you could do is just run down maybe some texty book page. This probably is not going to be quite right because, yeah, it's not really got enough. So let's try this. Like we did with the sheet music, but it's just book page instead. So you could just have that running down, running down the middle. Like that. I mean, how pretty does that look? So just pop that down like that. Oops. You know, so I mean, look at how tiny that scrap was that we've just used up. And again, just kind of ink around the edges of there. And then pop the bow on. So the bow could either go at the top or, you know, slightly lower. I'm going to put it at the top actually, but, and again, obviously the coloured bows, they're available as well in my shop, but like that. So, I mean, of course, this one would now not be able to hang from a tag because, you know, of course, I've now put the bow where I would have put like the bulb pin or, you know, some ball chain or something. So this one, you know, I would just slot this into a pocket or something. But I mean, it's so pretty, isn't it? And just, you know, how simple was that? Again, you know, you could just put maybe a label or something going off to the side as well if you wanted something else on there. So just take one of my labels and, I mean, again, this is a bit winging this now, so it might look rubbish, but it was just there to the side and I thought, oh, well, let's try that. So yeah, let's just ink this up a bit. Oh, I mean, how gorgeous does that look? So you could just literally have just a teeny label just off to the side like that. I mean, how lovely is that? And that's just, you know, finished tag then, ready to put in, you know, quite a tiny pocket. So yeah, they're well worth having, you know, ready and done. So I'm just going to kind of get on and, you know, be quiet about the process because, of course, it's not very difficult. And we'll just kind of mass make some. So for the mass make style, I think what I'm going to do is cut all my scraps to kind of rectangles first. And then I'm just going to adhere them all onto this sheet. And then I can cut them all out, then put the holes on and things like that. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of do that. So this one is a much bigger scrap. So I'm going to cut this down. Going to do one that's then plain green, I think, without any flowers. And then I've got this one that I can then actually do one with flowers, if you see what I mean. And I could probably even get another one from here. So, you know, no end of tags from that, just one piece of scrap there. So, and I'll probably end up that I'll have too many to even, you know, to even make them. But I'll just, you know, we'll just see how we get on really. So, like that. Oops. And again, you know, I'm not too worried if it's not straight, it's fine. Because when I cut it out from the paper, you know, I can then focus a little bit more on getting it straight at that point. So again, just cut this one down. I'll just make a sort of larger one from that scrap. And then that's that whole scrap used, which is amazing. Got this green here. So yeah, let's just kind of relax now, have a nice time and yeah, have a catch up. So I hope everyone's week has started out well. You know, if you watch my channel, you'll know I film these on the Monday, ready to go up on the Tuesday. So yeah, my week's just started. What have I been up to since last week? What have we been? Oh, yes, I've just remembered now what we have been up to. We have been decorating the bathroom. So I talked about this last week. Oh my goodness. So we've picked this really, really, really dark grey. Well, I have to say the colour is actually called Off Black. So that gives you an idea just how dark that colour is. So yep, picture Off Black. That's the exact colour that we're doing it. So it's pretty much, it is black. Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm thinking. It's nearly finished. I've just got like the top half of the bathroom left to do. So, you know, I started kind of reaching higher the other day. Oh, it must be an age thing because actually very quickly my arms were like, you know, aching like mad. And I thought, oh gosh, you know, this isn't much fun. So, yeah, I've still got quite a lot to do around the top of all the walls, obviously. I'm hoping that my sons might help, but sometimes that's just such a slow process that actually I'm just better off doing it myself. You know, I mean, they're very helpful, but it's kind of on their, you know, at their pace, isn't it? So yeah, they're, you know, we've all done a bit so far. So that's what we've been doing. And yeah, I'm not quite sure at the moment. And my sons are like, oh my gosh, Mum, that looks horrible. You know, what are you doing? This looks horrible. But I'm ploughing on because I think I said last time, you know, our towel rail and all of that kind of stuff, it's all broken. You know, it was kind of broken and it's been broken for ages, needed a new one. So I've ordered like a new towel rail and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Which arrived yesterday. I haven't opened it yet because it came from Amazon. You know, haven't opened it or anything yet. But I'm hoping that once we get the towel rail up and all of those kinds of things, that actually it's going to look really good. But yeah, my sons are like, oh, Mum, it just looks horrible. You know, we've literally made it look horrible. But I keep saying to them, oh, you know, give it a chance. Because I think once the, you know, once the towel rail's up and things, it's going to look actually really good. So I've ordered like a, industrial looking kind of towel rail in like copper colour. Obviously, like I said, I haven't seen it in the flesh. But it looks, you know, rusty almost. So, yeah, a bit like all the stuff that we make for our journals. It's got that effect going on. So, I mean, I'm hoping that once all that stuff's in there, it's actually going to look really nice. But, yeah, I mean, it might look really nice. It might look really rubbish. I'm not sure. But, yeah, definitely the kids are like, Mum, what were you thinking? This looks terrible. And I have to be truthful and say, I'm not sure myself at the moment. But I'm just hoping that, you know, once all the bits are up and all of that, that it's going to transform it. You know, like when we make things, you know, for our journals. And sometimes you're making things thinking, oh my goodness, you know, what am I thinking? This looks horrendous. I'm hoping it's going to be that kind of, you know, by the end it will be, oh, it looks really good now. Like I say, who knows? It might look really good. It might just look really, really horrible. Yeah, we shall have to see, but I'm hoping it's going to look good. So hopefully by next week when I come on, it will hopefully actually be finished. Like I say, it is actually dragging on much longer than I'd hoped. But, you know, that's just kind of how it is, isn't it? And, yeah. So we shall see. But the other thing that I did was when I came to, you know, buy the paint, I think I talked about this last week. I mean, even like the samples, they're so expensive. And, you know, we've used that Farrow and Ball paint, which is phenomenally expensive. You know, really, really, really expensive. And yeah, the paint samples were £5. So I had, you know, got a couple of other brands of samples, but yeah, the one that I, you know, really liked, the off black, that was this Farrow and Ball paint, which a whole tin of that is £52. I mean, that's crazy, crazy price, isn't it, for some paint? So we, you know, I asked because they didn't have any of the off black in a sample. So when I asked, the girl said, oh, but no worries, because we can mix you up some, you know, with that paint mixing machine. So I said, oh, great, you know, that would be brilliant. So that's what she did. And actually, it worked out fantastic because that mixer size, you know, it's actually slightly bigger than the sample paints. I mean, I couldn't tell you what size it actually is, but yeah, it's bigger than the sample paints that you would buy. So I couldn't believe it because we actually managed to do, oh, well, probably, I mean, it felt like it was a quarter of the bathroom. Actually, in hindsight, it couldn't have been because we still haven't finished now. But I thought, well, actually, this is silly because why would I then spend £50 on a tin of paint, you know, £52 on a tin of paint, when actually I could just get them to mix up another couple of samples and, you know, just do the whole bathroom with the sample paints. So that's what we did. And yeah, I bought another 3 samples because they're £3 each. So I bought another 3 samples, or they might be £3.50 actually. Bought another 3 samples because I thought that would get it done. And I was painting it with a paintbrush because, again, you know, because I'm quite a messy person, I can't be doing with the whole pouring it into a roller tray and all of that stuff because I just make such a mess. You know, to be honest, it's a bit like the measuring for me. You know, I just think, oh, by the time I've done all that, I might as well have just painted it by hand, you know, with the paintbrush. So I was painting with the paintbrush and then, you know, my son, my oldest son, he obviously came in and said, oh, Mum, you know, you're just wasting loads of time. Why are you painting it with the brush? Why don't you use the roller? So I explained, you know, that, oh, I just don't really get on very well with a roller. So he said, oh, well, I'll do the next, you know, the next bit. So he did. And he used, you know, used the roller. So he poured the paint into the roller tray, you know, and used the roller. Well, that's all fine. But to be honest, don't get me wrong, he did cover a much bigger surface, obviously, than I did in, you know, sort of half the time. But he's used up all the paint. And there's still quite a bit left to paint now. So, you know, it swings in roundabouts because, of course, yes, it was quicker, but it's used up more paint. You know, the brush, I think probably I could have probably just about done the whole bathroom. But doing it with the roller has been much more extravagant. So, of course, yesterday I had to go off and buy another couple of sample paints. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still working out way, 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 way cheaper than the £50 for the, you know, the tin of paint. But yeah, not obviously as cheap, because I've had to go back to the shop now a couple of times. So there's my petrol as well. So anyway, I will let you know how it looks next week. I really hope it looks good, because covering up this dark black colour is going to be a nightmare apart from anything else. If, you know, if we actually do hate it, you know, and have to cover it all up, it's going to take loads of coats to actually cover over it. And of course, nobody's going to want to do that, because who wants to just repaint a room? So yeah, I just really pray that, you know, I'm doing the right thing. I also had this chest of drawers in there. It was just a really cheap chest of drawers that I'd had for years. And again, you know, it was quite water damaged and things, you know, but it's just a very small chest of drawers, you know, for things like, well, toiletries and things like that. Just one of those tiny ones that you'd buy for maybe like £30 or something, you know, from TK Maxx, that type of thing. And yeah, I've had it for like probably 15 years. And again, that was quite damaged, and of course wouldn't go now with the bathroom. So I've also been painting that. So that's in the kitchen at the moment, like on the table, where I've been painting that. So yeah, that's kind of another little project that's like a side project, you know, for the bathroom. So yeah, it's for the bathroom, but it's just like on the side. So again, I've painted like the carcass of the chest of drawers, and I've painted one of the drawers so far. And I've done 2 coats on all of those things, but I've had to do it like that because I couldn't fit all of the drawers. It's just got 3 drawers. They're only tiny, like I say, but, you know, I couldn't really fit it all onto the table. So, yeah, I've just done that at the moment. And then I think later today, if I get time, I'm going to just quickly paint the other 2 drawers. And then I'm hoping, because I've done that in a dark charcoal colour, I mean, it looks pretty awful at the moment because it was quite water damaged. And my son said, oh, Mum, you know, you can't paint that. It looks terrible. I mean, I just laughed and said, well, hopefully, you know, actually the room's going to be so dark anyway, no one will really notice the fact it's all bubbly on the top. I mean, I'm not kidding. The room is that dark. So, yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to, you know, look okay once it's actually painted. But yeah, that's what I was going to say was, so I've also ordered from Amazon some like copper looking paint. So it looks just like the patina, and I did nearly just use the patinas because I thought, oh, I could just use those. But I thought, well, actually that's not very cost effective, because what I want to do is just go around like a gilding kind of effect, like with my finger around like the edge of the top and, you know, down the sides and things like that. And that patina is quite expensive, you know, so to do like a whole chest of drawers, I'd probably end up using all of it. And B, it dries very, very quickly. And although that's a great thing for obviously, you know, the surface it's going on, I think it would dry, you know, like if I was, say, pouring it out into a little paint tray, you know, I'd have to keep on pouring it. Or if I poured out a larger quantity, so you save time, I think it would just dry out too quickly to actually use, if that makes sense. You know, I'd come to use it and it would be dried out. So yeah, I've ordered some coppery type looking paint that hopefully is going to match these rustic looking you know, pipe design thingamybobs, you know, towel rails and all of that. So yeah, fingers crossed it's going to look good. But yeah, I have got my doubts at the moment. And, you know, I mean, that's another thing now is, of course, now I've painted that chest of drawers as well. So if we end up having to change the colour scheme, it's what's going to go with a sort of charcoal chest of drawers. So, yeah, let's just fingers crossed that when the towel rail and all that goes up, you know, it's going to look really good. I don't know. So, yeah, we'll have to see. So that's been what we've been busy kind of doing. Oh, the weather has been absolutely gorgeous, I have to say. It feels like spring has sprung. So on Saturday, you know, I did a sort of coat of paint in the bathroom, and then my middle son was at work. My daughter was at her dad's this weekend. And then my eldest son was obviously at home. So my eldest son and I, we went for a lovely walk on the beach, and went to see my mum and dad and things. And yes, that was really nice. Although I have to say it was really windy down there, but yeah, we did have a nice time. And it was just, oh, so lovely to see the sunshine. So yeah, but it's been pretty nice ever since then. And oh, and the other really lovely news is, now, if you watch my channel, you might remember back in about October, my nephew, so my eldest nephew, him and his girlfriend were having a baby, and they had that gender reveal party, and he proposed to her there and surprised everyone and proposed to her. So they had their baby on Friday, which was lovely news. So yeah, they had a little boy. Obviously we knew that because it was the gender reveal party where, of course, we all found out they were having a boy. And they called him Vincent, little baby Vincent, which, how cute is that? And yeah, I mean, nobody knew the name. They'd kept the name a secret from everybody. So it was a complete surprise for everyone. And yeah, so cute. I think he was like £5.8 or something like that. Now, unfortunately, and they did know this when they were having him, in one of the scans, they picked up that he's got a heart defect. So yeah, poor little thing. He's in an incubator at the moment, and they've got to stay there while he's kind of like fed to build his strength up, and then he's got to have like surgery basically, because at the moment he actually can't breathe for himself, so he's having to breathe, you know, the incubator is kind of breathing for him. So at first they weren't actually able to hold him or anything. I mean, they knew all this was going to be the case, but I'm sure that didn't make it any easier when they actually gave birth, or when she gave birth, and then they wouldn't, you know, they weren't able to hold him. She, I think, held him for like 5 seconds, literally, and then they took him straight off her, and obviously then he had to go into the incubator and things because, of course, he wasn't able to breathe. And then my nephew, he actually didn't get to hold him at all the night that he was born, because, you know, he was obviously just straight into that incubator. They had to go and have him at not our local hospital, but somewhere a bit further afield, where they had specialist facilities, and obviously she was induced and things, so that they had everything ready for when he was born. And yeah, so they're going to have to stay at the hospital for the next couple of weeks whilst he, you know, they try and kind of get his weight up and build his strength up to have the surgery. And then I think then he'll have the procedure, or, you know, the operation, and hopefully then I think it's just a couple of weeks, and then hopefully he'd be able to come home, you know, to sort of finish his recovery at home. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a long, you know, and I'm sure very difficult kind of, you know, time for them. And of course, nobody can see him, you know, because they're in like the specialist bit. And I assume because of COVID measures, nobody can go and visit. So nobody has seen him at all other than on photographs. You know, it's just them who are only people allowed to see him. And so far they had only been able to touch him like through the incubator, like poke their hands through. Yesterday they did forward a couple of pictures holding him. He was obviously hooked up to like breathing equipment. But so they were then able to have a cuddle with him, which I'm sure must have been incredible and just lovely for them. So yeah, so that's lovely, lovely news. But yeah, I think they're in for, you know, I'm sure a heartbreaking and very difficult time for a few weeks. So yeah, just really hoping that it all kind of, you know, goes well and that it goes quickly for them, you know, because that must be just horrible, mustn't it? So yeah, but I mean, aside from that, it's lovely news. So yeah, baby Vincent anyway. So that was his little arrival. Do we have anything else to report? Not really. Haven't really been watching anything very interesting. Just trying to think even what I have been watching. I've been just flicking through channels, really, trying to find things to watch. And yeah, to be honest, haven't really found anything very interesting to watch now for a while. So yeah, I've not kind of like, you know, got into anything as such for ages. Yeah, there doesn't really seem to be a great deal on worth watching, unfortunately. So yeah, if you've got any recommendations, then let me know below. I've tried watching a couple of things that then, you know, like after a couple of episodes, you just think, oh, this is just rubbish. Why am I watching this? So there have been a couple of things that I've tried to watch, but just haven't really got on with. And again, I can't think what those are now, but I can't think now. There's not really been anything much on at the cinema. There is that film, the Nan movie, I think it's called. Now, this is the Catherine Tate thing. So, and again, I don't know whether she's known elsewhere or whether she's just here in the UK. But she's got this character in her kind of like sketch show thing that she does, called Nan. And, I mean, she's just like a very funny character, to be honest. Oh, gosh, hold on, that's my door. Oh, so sorry about that. That was just the postman. Yeah, so the Nan movie, yeah, we will be going to see that. My son and I will go and see that. But it's an 18, and yeah, so I mean, I think it's an 18, but obviously, you know, my daughter won't be able to come, and we just didn't go at the weekend because obviously he was working, and then yesterday he was busy and things. So yeah, hopefully we'll go later on this week. I hope it will be funny. It might be not that funny. I'm sure it will probably be lots of swearing and things, so definitely not, you know, not one for children. I mean, not that they could get in and watch it anyway, but yeah, hopefully it will be fun. So yeah, that's what we will be watching if we get a chance later on this week. I haven't really seen any trailers for anything else coming out. Yeah, I can't really think of anything that's even due out, to be honest, that would be, you know, worth watching. Yeah, I can't really think of anything, to be honest. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we've nearly done all of the hole punching now, and then I'm just going to put some hole reinforcers in. And then we're kind of pretty much done, and we've made a phenomenal, oops, nearly mucked that up and punched randomly through one. We made quite a lot of tags here, haven't we? I'm not sure how many we've made, but I mean, of course, they don't take 5 minutes to make, so, you know, it's not kind of hard to actually make a few, but yeah, it feels good when you've made a lot of things, doesn't it? And, you know, hopefully as well, got rid of quite a lot of scraps. So let's bring my hole reinforcers in. So what I'm going to do is just line up a few that I can then glue and pop the hole reinforcers down. So a bit like a sort of production line of glue, and then popping the holes on. Okay. One, and yeah, so hopefully that means summer is on its way. Well, yeah, hopefully summer is on its way. I mean, it's so nice to see the sunshine, I have to say. It just, oh, it makes you feel so good, doesn't it? And, oh, it's just lovely. So, yeah, fingers crossed. We are now heading towards summer, you know, or at least spring. Yeah, it's so refreshing, isn't it? When you kind of like see that sunshine, it just makes you feel so good. Okay, and then of course the clocks will be going forward, which I assume is probably this weekend. Yeah, I'm sure it must be this weekend. I think this weekend is Mother's Day here in the UK as well, so yeah, I haven't bought anything for my mum yet, but I shall have a look and see what I could get for her. Often just go like thirds with my sisters these days. So yeah, kind of as we've got older, you know, I think we can kind of see the sense of actually, you know, if we club together, we can buy something a lot more worthwhile than just, you know, 3 rubbishy presents that are cheap. You know, we can buy something a bit nicer if we club together. So we've been doing that more, you know, well, for the past few years, really. So yeah, we might do that. I don't know, like what we would do. But you know, we might not even do that. I don't know. And my older sister, she's fantastic. She's very good with the whole organising, and she's pretty good at researching and coming up with great ideas to buy and things, because I have to say I'm absolutely rubbish. I'm a kind of like, oh, let's go on Amazon and see, and just, yeah, you know, blindly just hunting for something and can never really think of anything, you know. So yeah, she's amazing for doing that. So I've just got a label here. I might just kind of just pop a little label onto this one. And again, I'm just popping this down just because this is, you know, something I just happen to have on hand. But yeah, we can just pop that one down on there. Okay. So let's just see if I can decorate this one up. I'm thinking we could even have one of these small tags hanging from this, because it's probably just about small enough to have a hangy tag from this tag. So let's just, yeah, so like that. And again, just then ink this up a bit. Okay, just ink up around those edges as well. Up there, because obviously this was just on that book page, so it's, you know, got no colour kind of going on at all. So like that. And what should we decorate that one with? I mean, it's a shame that I haven't got any of this paper to hand, because that would have really been great, wouldn't it? But having said that, I think I have got some of the fussy cuts from that. So hold on a second. Well, she says, and now I'm like, oh, I'm not sure really whether I have, because they're quite large. Perhaps I haven't. Let's have another look quickly. What have I got? What have I got? What have I got? Oh, I thought that I had some, but yeah, I can't actually see them now, which is a bit annoying, but... Oh, isn't that just always the way? You know, you think you've got something sat right there, and then you come to look for it and it's just disappeared. Well, let's just go for this. So, I mean, you know, I'm not saying this is going to look ideal, because this might be massive, but let's just tear this down and see. There we go. So we can just put that little bird on there. Like that. So, I mean, even though that's a tiny tag, you know, it still had plenty of room to actually get that bird on there, didn't it? You know, which is really cool. So I'll just then cut this one out. Like that. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, right, and then just that butterfly. So that butterfly could go either on the top one or the bottom one, but actually I think it looks probably better on the bottom one. So just again going to just ink that lightly, slightly, and yeah, just pop some glue on there. Again, just using the hot glue for speed, you know. It's complete overkill really, but just to be quick and easy about it. Now, I would probably choose to use ball chain, but just because, you know, I've already stopped the camera once, I don't really want to stop it again. So I'm just going to pull in a bulb pin instead. You know, which is great anyway, because, you know, not everyone has got that ball chain stuff. So I'm going to take that, and then what I might do is also add on, you know, we did the little charmy dangles. So let me just pull in one of those. Okay. So, yeah. Let's just pop this on here. Pop that through like that. How gorgeous is that? And I mean, that's 2 teeny tags, to be honest. You know, this is not hung on a big tag. It's also hung on a teeny tag. So But how gorgeous does that look? And, you know, this one then, you know, would be perfect if you had a smallish pocket that you could put this one in, and this one could be dangling, you know, out loose over the pocket. So, you know, they're just super cute, aren't they? And, you know, they just add something extra to a tag if you hang them sort of dangling from another tag. So, yeah, I think they're really nice. So let's see how many we did. We've got 1, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, whoops, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then I also had these couple. So just very quickly cut these two out. I won't have time to do the whole reinforcers, but at least they're then cut out ready. Okay. Just do the shaped corners there. Okay. Let's just take that down a bit. Okay, and then this one. Okay, whoops. Yay! So yeah, we must have done 19, which actually that's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, you know, they're very, very simple, obviously. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't like they were hard or anything like that, but you know, that's really great. And we did actually decorate up, you know, 3. So, or well, 5 really, because we decorated these 2 as well, but you know, we've got these 3 as well decorated. So yeah, they're just something really quick and easy and just, you know, quite fun to make. So yeah, I hope that you know, join along and have fun if you decide to make some. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks then. Bye.